Hi everyone, my name is Amy Brown and I work in the Teaching Innovation Office here at UNCG. And I wanted to give you a brief tour of a tool that we're using here in our office called the GORP tool, and we're using it for classroom observations. Often our staff is asked to go into classrooms and observe them either from beginning to end or just a portion and give feedback to the faculty. So we've been using the GORP tool to help us to give feedback to faculty. So I just want to talk a little bit about what is GORP. And again, it is a tool developed by the UC Davis, and it is a platform for observing courses using validated observation tools. So you'll see here lots of acronyms of lots of different tools. When you log into GORP for the first time, and here in our office we can help you log in and get your account set up, you'll see lots of different protocol tools, and that's always the first place I tell people to go, is just go to the protocol list and kind of choose the tool that makes the most sense to you. There's lots of acronyms here, I do apologize, but once you log into the tool, you'll find the one that works the best for you. For example, there's RLOP, which stands for Real-Time Laboratory Observation Protocol. So if you're teaching a lab course, this one might make the most sense to you. Whereas there's the OPAL course, or the OPAL protocol. It is the observation protocol for active learning. So we've gone in, the one I use the most is called OPLE. It's the observation protocol for the learning environment. It was developed by Colorado University, the Boulder campus. So I use that one the most, and that's the one I'm going to demonstrate today. They all work in a very similar way, but again, you have to go in and find the protocol that works the most, it makes the most sense to you. That's always that first step. So let me show you the one that we use the most here, and that is this one again, the one developed by UC Boulder. So you see lots of options on the screen, and I apologize if you can't see everything perfectly, but when you open up the tool, you can see there's lots of different options, and hopefully after you look at it a while, you'll see kind of a rhythm to it. So things are in different columns, so you see here the things here in orange on the left are, is someone lecturing, is someone giving assessment. The next one's in purple, so is it student-focused instruction. Then two in the middle, the green and the blue, represent the dialogue, and then the one on the pink on the right is the technology. So what GORP tool asks you to do is, once you start the observation, it's going to ask you every 2 minutes, tell me what's happening in the classroom. So as different things happen in the classroom, I tick and choose different things, and you can see several things here are grayed out that I've chosen, and then I am asked to submit. And there's something going on that's not here as an option. I always write a note here kind of to give myself a reminder. So every 2 minutes I'm capturing what's going on in the classroom. So for this one, you can see I saw students working out problems, so I ticked that one. The teacher's walking around, I chose this one. And then I noticed the teacher was giving some individual instruction to someone. I noted that one. And then I would hit submit and capture that information. So once I capture that information and hit end observation, I would go to the next and save that data, and this is what it looks like. And this is a bit confusing because there's a lot of things going on here. You can see different things, like it was capturing my notes that I was taking in this teacher-focused instruction. But when I give it to faculty, I actually turn it to a visual chart form, which GORP allows me to do, and allows me to see different patterns of things happening. So of course I would never just hand this over to faculty. I would give a text explanation so they would understand what's happening here. For example, this orange line here represents the lecturing of the instructor. So you can see here that the class started with some lecturing, and then it moved to some more dialogue between the students, and then it ended with some lecturing. So if I was giving this feedback to faculty, I would explain kind of in the quadrants what's happening at all times in the classroom that I saw. So after the observation, I usually ask if they want to talk a bit about my general observations, and then I follow up with the visual and a detailed text explanation about what each section means, and then I offer to do another observation if they wish. What happens with some observations is that faculty want to try something new, and so they have us come in and kind of capture something, and then a week or two, or a month or two, they ask us to come in and do another observation for comparisons to see what's happened. So why is this useful? It gives us a standard way to give consistent feedback to faculty, which is lovely. It kind of tells you what's happening every 2 minutes in your class, which is lovely. It also provides a nice visual so you can actually see what you're actually doing and what is actually happening in the classroom. Sometimes as faculty, especially for large classes, we're not always aware of what's all going on in the room. So when we do an observation, we sit in the very back so that not only are we seeing the faculty and the technology, but we're seeing what's happening with the students and their screens from behind the scenes. It also gives us a measurable way that we can see changes, especially if we do multiple observations and we can do comparisons. So I thought it might be useful if you saw some graphs from faculty where I actually went in for a first observation and then a second observation to see the difference. So I was asked to go into a classroom and observe someone lecturing, and it was one of her first times lecturing, and she believe that she was doing lots of active learning and lots of student dialogue in her classroom. But this is the chart from that first observation, and you can see this green line here represents all of her lecturing. So it turns out that she was actually lecturing most of the time. And then there were some student questions here in the orange, but most of this was the teacher-led instruction here. So these lines up here represent that, and that's the feedback that I gave her. So after we went through that feedback, again, both the graph and the text, and then we met a couple times and brainstormed some different things, then I came back and did a second observation, and this is what our chart looked like, and it was very different. So you can see here the beginnings of a little bit of a lecture, but then the course turned into more student focus with activity in groups, and they gave presentations, and then it ended with a bit of lecture at the end to kind of wrap things up. So it gave her a measurable way to kind of document what she did in the classroom so that she can talk about that with others and then maybe even try different things the next time. So if you want to learn more about the GORP tool, or you want us to come in and do a class observation for you, please reach out to us in the Teaching Innovation Office, and you can be glad to answer your questions, or you can schedule a class observation.